Well, hello, this is Trev and welcome to Geekology. Hello, long time no see. So where have you been over the summer? Have you had a good summer? Have you enjoyed yourself? Well, the reason why you haven't seen my face in the hallowed halls of YouTube recently is because I decided to practice what I preach. Yes, indeed, folks, I actually listened to music. And I spent plenty of time listening to headphones. I had some really special ones and some really special amps and DAC amps that I wanted to get to grips with. And over the course of the next few days, weeks, months, you'll see the fruits of my labour hopefully appearing as and when I can find the time to get it up on the YouTube channel. What are we going to be showing you today? We're going to be showing you something really quite special. Let's go over and show you. Yeah, you've still got me in picture. So as we try and get a glimpse into the planar magnetic driver inside the cup through the mesh of the outside headphone grill, let's talk a little bit about the original HE6 and the differences between the original HE6 and this one. Well, the original HE6 won many hearts over, and to say the very least, grew a cult following. And many people were very disappointed when HiFiMan took the HE6 away, even though at that point it was a $1,500 headphone. It had a huge following. It was very, very difficult to drive because it needed so much power, because these are relatively inefficient. But two of my best audio friends, Dylan and Tom, both who write for Subjective Review, and Tom, who now works for HiFiMan. He fell in love with the HE6. This was his first premium headphone. And Dylan was the first person that I came across who'd done some extensive modding of the HE6. And I think I'm right in saying that Dylan still believes that of any headphone available on the market at any price, this is the best. The only exceptions being the $50,000 systems like the HE1 and the Shangri-La. What you're getting here is an updated version of the original model. It incorporates the same driver. I know this is normally quite an expensive headphone, and perhaps people would be looking for a more luxurious looking headband, but this one will distribute the weight quite well, and it's got lots of cushioning on it. So the other aspect of it is we've gone away from the old screw-in straight line 3.5mm connectors, and we've got these now which will fit any type of 3.5mm headphone cable, and I shall be using for my demo today the Lavery Cable's flagship custom cable. People tend to have a love-hate relationship with the HE6. Provided you get the right power to be able to drive this thing, boy do they sound fantastic. We're going to compare these to the original HE6, and this is the original model. And no surprises there, I've got the original models, which as you can see I've modded. I've got some custom cable attached to these as well. Okay, super quick unboxing. Cables adapter. Headphone. Put it down there, carefully. And headphone stand with it. That's your lot. put that somewhere else. So there it sits when it's not in use. Headphone cables. There's the plastic tubing stuff. Sounds pretty good to me. A lot of people don't seem to like it because it gets pinched, so you'll get little kinks in it. Doesn't affect the sound. And there's your adapter to go from balanced to unbalanced, if you must. What more would I be looking for? Well, perhaps a case or maybe a posher headband. But actually, it looks pretty good. And if you've got a few other HiFiMan headphones, like I have, it fits in quite well. It just doesn't seem to be in the right place in terms of the headband, because once you go to the HE1000, you've got that posher looking headband, haven't you? And yeah, this should be in that category. This should be in that territory. But whether or not it deserves to be in that territory, folks, is down to you, not me. Because the next part of this is we're going to have a listen. Yes, in the usual style, I'm going to put on a pair of binaural in-ear mics. I'm going to put the HE6 on over them, and I'm going to put them into an appropriately powered amplifier. And when I try to say appropriately powered amplifier, I really mean what I say, because it's going to be put into a rather special amplifier. I'm not even going to tell you which one it is. You're going to be able to listen to it yourself. You're going to be able to download a lossless version of it if you don't feel the YouTube version is good enough. It will be in HD, but the lossless version will be available as a full version on my usual description as a download, and you can listen to it at your leisure for as long as you want, as many times as you want, and it's free. There is no subscription required, of course. I will be testing the HE6 against the Arya Organic, so you can get a feel for the differences between the two. I'm not going to say now which one I prefer. It's not necessarily that one is better than the other. At this level of the game, it's more about the sound that you prefer. Listen for bass, detail retrieval, mid and treble response, whether it sounds like it's peaky on any of the headphones, whether the sound is distant or closer, whether the details are less noticeable or more noticeable on one headphone than the other. This won't be a blind test. I'll clearly show you which one is which, and then you can decide for yourself. We'll come back after that listening. To achieve all these answers to all these questions involves listening and concentrating over a number of listens. Get your head round it, get your brain round it, and give yourself the time that you need to properly evaluate the sound of these headphones. This is as close as I can give you to the experience of going into a shop and putting on a pair of headphones yourself and listening to them. And you can do that from the comfort of your own home, and you can do it over and over again without the pressure of a salesman trying to tell you which one is the best. You can make up your own mind. Fellow geekologists, have I got a treat for you? What you are looking at here is the EF1000 headphone amplifier. This is not the EF1000 DAC amp. This is the original EF1000, and this simply is a headphone speaker amp. The headphone part of this delivers 20 watts per channel of pure Class A output. The two boxes you're looking at there are the power supply. So what we've got there is a fully integrated design. We have several inputs and outputs options. It can be used using a remote control that's supplied. It has unbalanced and balanced headphone outputs. It is a Volve amplifier, but it's a hybrid design, so it's also got transistors in it as well. The attenuator, or volume to you and I, is a similar design as is on the Shangri-La amplifier, and as you know, the Shangri-La is the most expensive headphone system in the world, alongside the Sennheiser HE1. We're going to plug the Arya in to this. We're going to plug the HE6SE into this afterwards. This is a rare sight indeed. As a speaker amp, this will output in pure Class A mode 50 watts per channel. But if you want to drive it even harder than that, it has a Class D mode and it will go up to 110 watts per channel. This will sit in a very big room indeed. The headphone section is by no means an add-on. It provides 20 watts per channel of pure Class A output and has single-ended and balanced. There are numerous inputs. We'll come back in around about 1.5 minutes and we'll discuss what we heard.
Down among the reeds and rushes, a baby boy was found. His eyes as clear as centuries, his silky hair was brown. Never been lonely, never been lied to, never had a scuffling fear, nothing denied to. Born at the instant, church bells chime, the whole world whispering, born at the right time. Down among the reeds and rushes, a baby boy was found. His eyes as clear as centuries, his silky hair was brown. Never been lonely, never been lied to, never had a scuffling fear, nothing denied to. Born at the instant, church bells chime, the whole world whispering, born at the right time.
We got a chance to have a glimpse at the Felix Envy as well there in the background, which we'll have a look at some time in the future, no doubt. That's a beautiful headphone amplifier. It's a headphone amplifier only, and obviously it's a Volve headphone amplifier. It is their flagship model. It is beautiful. It sounds beautiful. But you've been listening to the EF1000 below it. You've got to listen to the Arya Organic to start with. What did you think of that? And then you got to listen to the HE6SE. Don't forget that you have the chance to listen in full to a lossless version of those recordings, and the recording itself was from Rhythm of the Saints by Paul Simon, and it was born at the right time. I was lucky enough to see him at Wembley Arena doing that, actually, as a concert. After the Graceland tour, he did the Rhythm of the Saints tour, and he had all of those musicians on stage with him. What a magical evening that was. We digress, however, and we need to know what you thought of the two headphones. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to now go back and listen again and again and again before you know what my opinion of the two headphones is. The Arya Organic is a beautiful looking and a beautiful sounding headphone. I know I've previously tested the Arya Inorganic against the Edition XS, and I preferred the Edition XS. So there you go. That had a smoother sound with slightly less detail than the HE6SE. In my opinion, a significant step up from the original Arya, and the Arya Stealth, the Organic, just seems to have lots and lots of class. High end is just slightly pulled back, creating a more intimate sound. It didn't sound as peaky as the HE6SE, and maybe there was a fuller bottom end, which was perhaps less fast. The HE6SE was a dynamic, lively, punchy sounding headphone, as I expected. I had to turn it up an awful lot louder on the EF1000. The EF1000 gave it the power it needed. There's no, obviously it's going to do that, isn't it? The HE6SE still remains my favourite type of sound, certainly for an hour's listening session with perhaps some lively rock music and some sophisticated world music like Paul Simon's produced there. So rock, pop and world music, yeah, it really excels in that. I think probably for classical music and for more extended listening sessions, and depending on what mood you're in, the Arrow would be your choice. It's horses for courses, always subject to your opinions on what you thought of those two recordings. Please drop me a line, don't hesitate, and really give yourself the chance to have a really objective listening session. You've got no pressure, you've got no salesman watching you. You're not sat in a queue at a hi-fi show waiting for the next person to tap you on the shoulder and say you've had long enough here. You can have as long as you want with these. Well, I don't know about you, but it's getting dark here in deepest, darkest Devon, and it's time for myself to say good night. I've really enjoyed this. I hope you have too. Drop your comments where it matters. Keep them insightful, and they will be published. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you look forward to hearing from me for the next instalment of the Geekology channel. You have been listening to Trev. I am the Geekologist, and with that, it is time to say adios, abiante, and good night.